Jackie Turner. We are continuing our read of Bending Willow. We're getting close to the end. Today we're on chapter 17. So, Riley and Mia found their Nana. So let's see what happens next. Riley woke up to the smell of bacon and the sound of someone talking on the phone. It took her a while to remember where she was. Mia was asleep beside her, so she held still, listening. Well, I don't think it's a good idea for everyone to rush over here. These little ones look like kittens in a rain gutter. Blaine and Delia'll be here as soon as they can, once they get done moving the cows up to the high pasture. Riley sat up. Blaine was coming. Her dad was coming. She placed her hand over her chest to try to quiet her pounding heart. What would he be like? Would he like her? Would he want to keep her? What would they do if he didn't want them to stay? Riley squeezed her eyes shut, then opened them. Maybe Nana would let them stay here. If her dad didn't want them, it seemed like a nice place, except for the devil bird. Nana peeked around the door. I gotta go, she said into the phone. One of the kittens is awake and hungry, no doubt. She clicked off the cell phone, stepped into the room, and shoved the phone in the back pocket of her jeans. Good morning, Miss Riley. Did you sleep well? Riley nodded, unsure of what to say. I see you have company. We're used to sleeping together. Nana nodded as if waiting for more, but Riley said nothing. We'll see if you can't wake up Sleeping Beauty there, and I'll finish up making breakfast. Nana headed out of the room without another word. Mia was sleeping so peacefully, Riley hated to wake her. The bed was the softest she could remember and smelled fresh. It was much better than haystacks, burner couches, and the thin, lumpy mattress of their old folded bed. Too bad they just couldn't lay here forever. But she could hear Nana clanging around in the kitchen, so Riley began her wake-up song. Breakfast was amazing. Fried steak, fried potatoes, fried eggs, cinnamon rolls, and orange juice. Maybe Nana was used to cooking for a lot of people. She sure had a ton of food around. The girls ate as much as they could, but couldn't finish it all. After we wash up the dishes, I'll show you around the farm, Nana said. Not much of a farm anymore, really. I've sold off most of it. Just 10 acres left, but I always like to walk it in the morning and make sure and check on everything. Then we'll come in for coffee and cookies, and you can tell me your story. You girls like coffee? Riley and Mia looked at each other and grinned. Mia giggled. We've never had coffee. We're kids. Nana chuckled. Well, who's to say a kid can't have a little coffee? It's good for you. Put hair on your chest. Mia's eyes grew wide as she pulled the top of her shirt and took out and looked down. Nana started laughing again, a loud, long laugh that made Mia and Riley laugh too. I'll load up these dishes and you two get dressed. I washed your things last night, but it looks like you two might need some new clothes. Maybe we'll take a drive into Twin tomorrow. She rose, gathering the plates to carry into the kitchen. Riley turned to Mia and wondered if her eyes were as wide and full of hope as her sister's. If Nana wanted to buy them clothes, maybe she wouldn't send them away to the shelter if her dad didn't want them. Maybe she'd keep them instead. Get dressed now, Nana said, coming back for more dishes. Your clothes are in the bathroom, and I set out some toothbrushes and a hairbrush for you. I threw that old hairbrush away. I don't know where you were to get everything that dirty. Now skedaddle, morning's a-wastin'. The girls jumped up and raced to the bathroom and pulled on their clothes as fast as they could. They brushed their teeth, which was hard because they couldn't stop smiling. Riley unbraided Mia's hair and it fell in lovely waves. Riley's own hair stuck up funny from going to bed with it wet. She put a little water on her hair and brushed it down the best she could. Let's go, you two, Nana said as she passed the bathroom and headed out the back of the house. They walked through a room that Riley thought must be the laundry room. Off to the left were stairs going down into the dark. What's down there? Asked Mia. Oh, that's where I keep my cannon and extra food. Now, now I know where all the food keeps coming from, thought Riley. They went out the back door. When they got outside, Mia ran up and grabbed Nana's hand. Nana stopped and held out her other hand. Riley hesitated, then reached out and slipped her hand into Nana's. The lawn wrapped around the back of the house, and beyond the lawn was the field they'd passed on their way in. Their feet sank deep into the wet grass, and they passed a large chicken coop with hens pecking around in the grass beside it. The sharp smell of chickens stung Riley's nose. Nana nodded to the coop. I already pulled the eggs this morning, but maybe you can help me tomorrow. Riley didn't think she'd like getting close to that smell. Behind the house was the biggest garden Riley had ever seen. Nana showed them huge tomatoes, corn, lettuce, beans, and other plants. She seemed to be especially proud of her garden, pulling ripe vegetables from the vines and handing them to the girls. Once they were through the garden, Nana led them back across the lawn to some small buildings. Here's my workshop, Nana said, pointing to a small white building the size of a large playhouse. I like to work with wood. They passed by a large barn with cars in it, a jeep and a pickup truck. What's that? Mia asked for the millionth time, pointing at a small fenced area. That's the pen where the bull comes when he comes to visit. Why would a bull want to visit a farm? What's that? Mia asked, pointing out another barn on the left. That's a milking barn. Come on, I'll show you. Nana took them into the small building with 4 odd-looking machines standing in a row. What are those? Asked Mia. Those are machines I hook up to the cows to get the milk. I milked the girls this morning, only needing 2 milking right now because 3 have calves. When they were Then there was an irrigation ditch that ran through the property, and lots of old farm equipment that Riley and Mia were allowed to climb on. Nana seemed to think the farm wasn't much, with having sold off most of it to other people, but Riley thought it was the most perfect place she'd ever seen. She dreamed of sitting in the sun, reading a book near the barn, while Mia played happily nearby. It took about an hour to check on everything. Riley hadn't seen Old Blue and was glad for that. Nana pulled a weed, picked a wild berry, or cut off stalks of wild asparagus that grew along the fence as they walked along the lane. The girls had their arms full by the time they got back to the house. Riley thought there was no way she could be hungry again after such a big breakfast, but when Nana filled their cups with warm milk, sugar, and a small drop of coffee, then set out cookies for dipping, Riley dug right in. Now, Nana said, settling in across from the girls with a full cup of black coffee in her hands, let's hear your story. Nana didn't say much as Riley told the story, with Mia helping out with the details. Nana frowned, shaking her head when Riley described finding her grandmother dead and Riley's fear about the shelter. Her forehead wrinkled, and she said tisk tisk when Mia described sneaking onto the bus. Her eyes widened as they told of their adventures at Burning Man, and her eyes flashed when they described the scary encounter with the truck driver. As they told of their escape from Todd, she got up from her chair and paced back and forth before pouring more coffee and then sitting back down. It was as if the story was even too scary for her. When they got to the part about Jack and his deafness and the wild driving, she laughed so hard tears streamed down her cheeks. When they were finished, Nana sat staring off into space. Riley wasn't sure what to do next. Should she say something? Nana shook her head as if to clear it. She looked at them, and Riley held her breath. Was Nana mad? Well, I need to do me some thinking, Nana said, but I'll say one thing for sure. You are 2 of the bravest kittens I've ever met. I gotta hand it to you. I do. Brave. Nana thought they were brave. The praise washed over Riley, feeling as good as when River gave her the name Willow. Nana stood up. Okay, you 2 go explore the farm while I think. Stay out of the ditch now. It can be dangerous. I think if you enter the barn quietly, you'll hear some little mews off to the left. Old Harry surprised me by laying 5 kittens a few weeks ago. Guess I'll have to call her Harriet now. She laughed at her own joke. If you approach her real slow and let her smell your hands, she'll let you hold the babies. Either that or scratch your eyes out. She laughed again. Now go. Nana swept her hands at them, and the girls scampered for the front door. That's the end of that chapter. Tune in next time for chapter 18. Getting close to the end.